Something's coming. Do you hear it? Can you see it? Trundling across the common, following the old hollow ways, sauntering down the lane, rocking up into the market square, laying out its wares. It reels you in with mysteries, trades with you fantastic tales, spins for you fascinating stories. Stories like the haunted pound stretcher, flying saucers, poisoners and body snatchers, haunted woodland, and the secret tunnels beneath our feet. Weird in the Wade is on its way, a podcast that explores everything that is weird, wonderful, and a little off-kilter in the town of Biggleswade in Bedfordshire. If you like your spooky stories told with a dash of historical context, or you like your history with a pinch of the paranormal, then this is the podcast for you. Never miss an episode. Subscribe to Weird in the Wade wherever you're listening now.
Hi, I'm Cassie, host of Tell Me Your Ghost Story podcast. Each episode features someone sharing their real-life paranormal encounter in their own words. From haunted houses to strange creatures, messages from beyond to UFO encounters, each story is sure to haunt you. Like David's story, he delivered mail to a bustling hotel in downtown LA, but later learned it had been abandoned and condemned for years. Or Jordan, who woke up in a historic hotel to find a goblin-like figure staring at her. And whatever it was, it followed her home. And Evan, who left the first responders who saved his life stunned after accurately recounting what happened while he was clinically dead. Ready for more? Listen to Tell Me Your Ghost Story podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcast app.
Hello and welcome to I Talk to Ghosts. I'm your haunted host, Jennifer, your resident medium and teller of ghost stories. I'm going to take a moment to thank you for listening to my voice this evening, and then I'm going to let you know that tonight's stories involve haunted battlefields, places where thousands died in a single afternoon, where the ground itself seems to remember what happened. Some say the soldiers never left. I've found some spooky stories that illustrate just that. And afterwards, join me at my seance table for a message from the spirits. As your spirit medium, I open the space for a message to come through for someone listening. Linger near and see if tonight's session is for you. That's later on in the episode. But first, be careful where you wander. Some spaces hold on to their memories. Our first stop tonight is Gettysburg, to a jumble of granite boulders called Devil's Den. If you know your Civil War history, you know what happened here in July of 1863. 40,000 men fell across these fields in 3 days. Some say that the granite itself soaked up what happened here. This story comes from a hunter who got turned around in the woods near that rocky ridge one evening. It was late enough that the light had gone that flat, colorless gray that it gets right before dark, when you can't tell anymore if you're looking at shadow or rock. I had lost the trail a while back, and I hadn't wanted to admit it to myself. The woods there don't sound like other woods. I noticed that before I noticed anything else. No birds settling in for the night, no rustling, just my own boots and my own breathing. Then I looked up, and there he was, up on the boulders, standing so still. At first I took him for one of the rock formations itself, but he raised one arm and pointed off to my left. I didn't question it. Something about the gesture felt less like a suggestion and more like a fact. I followed the line of his arm and the trail turned up again almost immediately. right where he had pointed. I turned to thank him, and the space where he had been standing was just rock. No sound of him climbing down, no rustle of brush, nothing. And here's the part I still can't shake. As I stood there, wondering, the air grew colder, not a breeze, more like a pocket. I stepped to the side, and it felt like I was stepping out of a freezer. I kept walking. I had never gotten a good look at his face, only the shape of him and what was left of the light. But I remember thinking his coat sat wrong on his shoulders, too heavy or too old a cut, buttoned in a way nobody buttons anything anymore. It's a small detail, but I remember all of it completely. Visitors still report that same rocky outcrop acting strange around them, cameras that won't focus, an overwhelming sense of being watched from up in the boulders. Devil's Den has a reputation, and once you hear an account like this, it's not hard to understand why. Next, we travel to Culloden Moor, near Inverness, where the last battle ever fought on British soil ended in under an hour. On the 16th of April, 1746, 1,500 soldiers were killed on that ground. Locals will tell you most old battlefields are quiet. Culloden is not one of the silent ones. This account comes from a tour guide who leads groups across the moor. I've walked a lot of battlefields in my time, and most of them, if I'm honest, feel like any other field. Grass, wind, the ordinary business of weather. Culloden has never once felt ordinary to me, even on a slow Tuesday with a busload of tourists comparing coffee orders behind me. That morning was clear, properly clear. No haze, no low clouds. You could see the tree line at the far edge of the moor without squinting. I had stopped the group and I was mid-sentence, explaining something about troop positions, when the mist came in. What stopped me from talking wasn't that it appeared. Mist appears, that's what mist does. It was the speed of it. It came across the heather at a dead run, low to the ground, and it held its shape the way water holds its shape running downhill. It didn't billow, it didn't drift, it moved like something with a destination. It ran itself right up to the old battle line, the exact route marked today by blue flags, and then, all at once, it pivoted, changed direction like a single body turning on command, and came slantwise across the field at precisely the angle the old maps show the charge taking. I've stood in that space probably 400 mornings during my life. I have never seen weather behave like an order was just given. Nobody in the group spoke. I remember the particular quality of that silence, like we were all holding our breath. Then the mist thinned out over more open ground the way mist is supposed to, and the morning went back to being a morning. A woman near the back of the group asked if it always did that. I told her the truth. I had never seen it before, and I've never seen it since. Other stories have come out of that field over the years. A lone soldier in tartan uniform who wanders near the grave markers, muttering the same word over and over, defeated. And locals who swear the birds never sing on those grounds. Culloden Moor has a way of making believers out of people who only meant to visit for an hour. Our final stop tonight is the Little Bighorn Battlefield in Montana, where in June of 1876, the 7th Cavalry met its end against the combined forces of the Lakota, Cheyenne, and Arapaho. This ground has carried a reputation for hauntings almost since the day the fighting stopped. The people who live nearby even have a name for the site's first park superintendent. They call him the Ghost Herder, because they believe he let the dead of the battlefield walk free each night, then sent them back to their graves when the flag went up at sunrise. This account comes from a woman who worked at the park. There's a night I'll never forget, and it's not the big, obvious kind of thing you'd expect. It was late, well past when the gates were locked, and I'd gone out towards one of the old ceremonial areas to check on something small and forgettable. I don't even remember what it was anymore. The moon was up, nearly full, bright enough that I hadn't bothered with a flashlight. It was quiet in that particular way the prairie gets quiet. I looked up towards the bluff, out of habit more than anything, and there they were, 2 men on horseback, cut out sharp and black against the moon like silhouettes someone had cut out with scissors. I could see the shape of shields. I saw the outline of feathers. Their horses stood so still they might have been carved. It wasn't fear that I felt first. It was the wrongness of it registering. Slow, like doing arithmetic. No horses on the battlefield after dark. Nobody on that bluff at all, not after the gates close. I ran the rules through my head twice before my body caught up with what my head already knew. And by then, the cold had already gotten into me, the kind that has nothing to do with the temperature of the air. I didn't wait to see if they moved. I said the words I was taught to say, and I went back inside. I didn't look at that bluff again until well after sunrise. In daylight, there was nothing. No hoofprints in the dust, no bent grass. Not so much as a broken stem where 2 full-grown horses should have stood for however long I had watched them. I left tobacco and sage out there that morning, the way I'd been taught. And I never saw those riders again, though I never quite stopped watching that bluff out of the corner of my eye either. It's worth sitting with how many men never got to leave that valley, and how some of them, it seems, still haven't. 3 battlefields, 3 places where the fighting, some say, never really ended. And that feeling you get on old battlegrounds, the sense of being watched, of walking through something instead of just passing by it. Some spaces keep the memories.
Hey there, I'm Susie and I'm the host of Beyond the Ferns podcast. Each week, I take you beyond the headlines into the stories that linger long after the news fades. From chilling true crime and unsolved cold cases, to paranormal encounters, cults, and extraordinary survival stories. It's a little bit of everything for everyone. Whether you're drawn to mysteries, fascinated by the strange and unexplained, or simply love a good story, I focus on the truth, the details, and above all, justice for the victims and survivors. So buckle up. Things are about to get a little scary. Follow Beyond the Ferns wherever you get your podcast. Thanks, y'all.
Welcome back to I Talk to Ghosts. Thank you for joining me here at my seance table for a message from the spirits. Tonight, as I work, I have with me the stone hematite. Hematite is known for its intense grounding energy as well as its ability to cleanse your root chakra. It's a crystal of intense detoxification to release any toxic emotions you may have been holding on to. And it's also great at absorbing negative energy, and it wards off feelings of stress with its calming vibrations. That stone again is hematite. Okay, I'm gonna clear my mind, open the space to have a spirit come close for someone listening. I have a man coming through. He has quite the happy personality. It does feel like you knew him as this fun-loving guy, and so when conflict and stress came into his life, you felt like this is the last person who deserves this. This feels like maybe older brother, maybe coworker who was such a good friend he felt like family. I'm getting the name Richard. I'm trying to experiment more with names. Okay, yes. This feels like a coworker. I see him leaning over your cubicle wall or putting his forearms on your desk while he's holding his coffee and just talking quite adamantly. Really fun, cheerful conversations with you. Feels like lunch breaks were the best part of the workday. Yeah, you worried about him because his outlook sometimes was skewed. It feels like there are some ups and downs there, and you would joke that he was a puppy for you to take care of. His message for you tonight, he says you have a very big heart and you lead with your emotions, and he really wants that to get you far because the world needs people with kind hearts and an extra emotion to give, compassion. It sounds like you have a son who is very, very smart. He says to encourage him to keep leveling up. Celebrate all the little successes that will lead to bigger successes, but also to do fun things on the weekend to help rejuvenate the family. It feels like camping or hiking. I'm seeing a sleeping bag. Okay, I think I'm gonna leave it at that. I hope this message connects for you if it's meant to, and I'm sending a lot of love and support to your family as well. Thank you. Are you interested in booking a medium reading with me? Sessions are always unique, beautiful, and unpredictable, but never spooky. Visit italktoghosts.com/readings to pick a date and a time. I can't wait to meet you. And with that, dear listener, we've reached the end of this episode of I Talk to Ghosts. I hope you enjoyed my spirit work as well as those spooky stories of haunted battlefields. Have you had your own paranormal encounter while visiting historic battlegrounds? If so, I would love to hear it. So please reach out. In the meantime, wherever you wander off to, in this world or the next, just remember, come back and visit with me. Have a lovely evening and good night.
Something's coming. Do you hear it? Can you see it? Trundling across the common, following the old hollow-ways, sauntering down the lane, rocking up into the market square, laying out its wares. It reels you in with mysteries, trades with you fantastic tales, spins for you fascinating stories. Stories like the haunted pound stretcher, flying saucers, poisoners and body snatchers, haunted woodland, and the secret tunnels beneath our feet. Weird in the Wade is on its way, a podcast that explores everything that is weird, wonderful, and a little off-kilter in the town of Biggleswade in Bedfordshire. If you like your spooky stories told with a dash of historical context, or you like your history with a pinch of the paranormal, then this is the podcast for you. Never miss an episode. Subscribe to Weird in the Wade wherever you're listening now.
In every small town, behind every closed door, a story waits to be uncovered. On our true crime podcast, we dive deep into the cases that haunt communities around the world, from chilling cold cases to crimes with unexpected twist. No detail is too small.
Hosted by us, Jen and Cam, two lifelong friends who love telling a good story. This isn't sensationalized news. It's real cases, real people, and the chilling details that keep you up at night. Our true crime podcast brings the facts, a little perspective, and just enough humor to remind you you're not alone in being fascinated by the darker side of life.
Our true crime podcast, where bizarre crimes, meticulous research, and genuine friendship collide.
Subscribe today if you dare, because sometimes the scariest stories are the true ones.